apologize. Some of you guys have this training a million times, but it's still really worth talking about it. And we have a lot of new BSCs, so we want to review it. So here we go. Social validity. What is it? As Natalia asked. Well, very simply, it's a degree to which the VIP finds our involvement acceptable. And it is, we talk so much about objective measures. This is a subjective measure. This is kind of like, hey, do you agree with what we're doing? Do you like what we're doing? Do you agree with what we're doing? And, if the answers are yes, then we're kind of on the right track, right? So, and, with our ethical dilemma this morning, we talked about reviewing all this stuff with the VIP, their caregivers, the people that are going to be carrying out the plan, that they understand and they're okay with what we are doing and what we're working on. So this is what social validity is all about. So what is the importance of social validity? Well, VIP is more likely to stick with treatment. When we have good social validity, the VIP, the caretakers, the people involved with the plans are much more likely to stick with treatment. When we review what we're doing, they agree to the goals. They want to work. They want to accomplish what's going on. They want to kind of stick with treatment. And it leads to better outcomes. When everyone's working on the plan with what everyone agreed upon, it's going to lead to better overall outcomes in our treatment plans. And it's going to, of course, encourage others to seek treatment. I mean, the books I read, that families write, they are talking to other families. They are talking to other families that are in similar predicaments. And they're like, hey, when we worked with Reaching Beyond Limits, they really helped us accomplish this goal. And, that could encourage someone else to seek treatment so that they can also have a similar result and accomplish their goals, whatever it may be. Do you guys have any questions about that? So the opposite, it's kind of the opposite, right? If we don't have this, people are not likely to implement parts of the program. If they don't agree with it, if they don't kind of let us know what's important to them, and we work on things that are maybe important to us instead, people are not likely to implement parts of the program. And we've seen this, right? We've seen this happen. Withdraw, people are likely to withdraw from service, or what else? Cancel. Right? And that's something we sometimes will see when we don't have good social validity. People will cancel appointments with us. They don't want to kind of work with us because we have not found out what's important and developed that relationship. And then, of course, they're going to share their disapproval with others. They're going to be like, they're going to let other people know in their close circle that, we did not work on what was important to this family or this caretaker or this or wherever we are. So what is it exactly? So does the VIP, caretakers and caregivers and society at large find our work meaningful? And there's three kind of aspects that we have to consider. And the first is in our goals. So our ultimate outcome, and this is the ultimate outcome that we write on our treatment plan, right? We want to make sure that they find this goal meaningful, that what we are working for is meaningful. And what is the ultimate outcome? It's not yet an answer. What is our ultimate? Okay, yeah, I love that answer. It's our mission statement, of course. But what is an ultimate outcome in our treatment plan? What are we thinking about? What kind of goal? Broad goal that encompasses our target behaviors, right? So our ultimate outcome can be improve functional communication. It could be improve hygiene. It could be graduate high school. It could be live a healthier life, right? And then our target behaviors fall under that. How do I figure out what the goals are? I'm going to be asking what's important to the family, what's important to the VIP themselves, what is important, what do they want to accomplish with our work? And that is how I'm going to extract that ultimate outcome from who I'm working with. I'm not going to dictate it on my own necessarily. I'm going to help guide them, but I am going to extract. Thank you, Shay. And these are some questions that I would use to do this. And usually this kind of occurs right off the bat when I'm out there working, doing my indirect interviews, my indirect assessments, I'm going to ask some of these questions. And these are included on our FBA interview form for you guys to help prompt you guys. If you can change one thing today that would make VIP's name or so-and-so's life better tomorrow, what would it be? Well, we'd really like them to lose weight. We would really like them to sleep better. We'd really like to reduce these maladaptive behaviors. We would really enjoy them communicating with us more effectively. This is what I'm going to put in my treatment plan. They tell me what's important, and that's what I'm going to use to dictate my treatment. So right off the bat, I'm starting to take all this information and I'm starting to narrow it down. And I'm taking this broad goal, and it's going to lead to target behaviors eventually. But at first, I'm just getting this ultimate outcome, which is the broad goal of my treatment. And on our treatment plans, one of the sections is ultimate outcome, and this is what we're talking about here. What is it about so-and-so's that keeps you up at night? What is important to you? And ensure we are focusing on the VIP's benefit. We don't want to do something that's just convenient for the caregivers. We want to make sure that our goals are improving a person's life. And that is the applied dimension of ABA, socially significant with what we are working on. That's going to really help this VIP access new reinforcers, new environments, new places, new people, and fun things that they can enjoy. And that's what we want to focus on. Can you go back one slide? In our procedures, so the same idea. So in our procedures, and we talked about this in our ethical dilemma this morning, that we are going to review our procedures to make sure the people that are carrying them out are okay with it, that the VIPs are okay with it, that everyone is agreeable to what we're doing. And then finally, when we are at the end of treatment or accomplish some goal or target behavior mastery criteria, that they feel good about the outcome. And don't just think about the VIPs and the caregivers, but if we put your work on TV, if we put you on TV for the whole world to see, would most people in the world be like, yes, this was so important. What you guys did was excellent. And this is what social validity is about. So the VIP, the caregivers, and society at large would all agree that what we are doing is important. You guys have any questions about these ideas so far? So these are some areas to measure social validity. Are the specific behavior goals or are ultimate outcomes really what society wants? And like we mentioned, the VIPs, the important people in the VIPs' lives, and society at large, if they found out about it. Obviously, our work's confidential, what we're doing. But if society at large were to find out, would they be okay and not just okay, but thrilled with what we are working on? Feel like this is very important work, what you're doing. Do the participants, caregivers, and other VIPs consider the treatment procedures acceptable? Are we doing something that everyone's okay with what we're doing? Are they able to complete these procedures? Are they able to carry through with treatment fidelity? And what we're talking about here is our teaching methods and our reduction procedures. What we're doing in our treatment plan, are they able to do it? And are they okay with what we are recommending? And then are the VIPs satisfied with the results that are, of course, significant positive life changes? So these are the three areas: the goals, the procedures, and the outcomes. And that's what this is all about. Gotcha. So, and this is kind of moving to the goals section. So what we talked about a lot of, the ultimate outcome of treatment. What is our ultimate goal of treatment? And there are life changes based on the individual's preference. I can't stress that enough. What we are working on is what the individual wants to work on, what the caregivers think is important, and if society at large found out, bless you, would find important. And they're not specific changes in behaviors. They're not, that's our targeted behaviors, right? That's kind of what falls under the ultimate outcome. And the examples that we talked about, a few other ones, are maintain a healthy lifestyle, graduate from high school perhaps, get a job. Can you guys give me an example of an ultimate outcome? Get a job. Yeah, absolutely. Obtain employment. What's another ultimate outcome that could be important to the VIP? Starting college, right? What else? Great ones. Sure. Okay, yeah, saying hello, greetings, right? That would be a cool one.
More broad, but improving speech.
Yeah, improving functional communication. How important? And we'll talk about why that's so important. I mean, obvious, it's very obvious, but we'll talk more in depth why that's important. Toileting skills, right? Hygiene, right? Absolutely, so important to access the community at large, right? Think about how stigmatizing it was for someone to go into a place and they might have an accident, perhaps, and that might be so important that this person learns how to do this, so now they could access the environment without being stigmatized. Absolutely, great recommendation. What else? Anything? It could be anything, guys. It could be anything that the VIP, their caregivers, would find important. And we are, again, extracting this information from them, right? We don't have to guess what this is. They will tell us during our interview and through our work with them. Our criteria is socially significant, of course, the applied dimension. Contextually appropriate. We're going to consider culture, religion, the function. It needs to be reachable for this person. And it has to be measurable. We know for a fact if they develop toileting skills. We know for a fact that they improve their functional communication, right? So these are the criteria for social validity, goals. And then we might have intermediate outcomes. So, and we see this in our treatment plan too, that we take this broad goal and then we kind of narrow it down even more. And the intermediate outcomes are still pretty broad. We might have improved a healthy lifestyle as an ultimate outcome, and then an intermediate outcome could be eat a balanced diet. What's another way that we can improve healthy lifestyles? Exercise, right? So that could be an intermediate outcome. And you see how we're taking this broad goal and slowly narrowing it down. The next step is our discrete responses or target behaviors that we're interested in working on. The next one is develop study skills, right? And this could be Mark's example, going to college or graduating high school, perhaps. Developing study skills. What could be another intermediate outcome for a school-based ultimate outcome?
In the context of college, pass X class with this grade.
Sure. I mean, that could be like a targeted behavior. I was thinking like wake up at 8, like wake up on time, right? Scheduling kind of idea. I mean, you could take this anywhere. Where does this person need our help? And then, another one might be attain employment, someone mentioned. Develop interview skills. Could be an intermediate outcome. So we're taking this broad and then narrowing it down. Another example, getting a job might be, hygiene skills. Develop hygiene, so we can narrow it down that way. And it's all individualized to the person, right? That's what we're getting at here. And then finally, we have our targeted behaviors. And this is what's observable and measurable. For eating a balanced diet, we could see eat 7 servings of fruit and vegetables per day. This is what we're tracking, right? This is observable and measurable. We can count if they accomplish this target behavior or not. Study for an hour, 4 days a week. This is a target behavior that we can observe. We can measure this, right? 4 times a week. Study for an hour a day. We have turned this into an objective target behavior now. Thinking about the behavioral dimension of ABA. Right, that we can observe and measure this. Practice interviews with 3 different people per week is another example of a target behavior that we're looking to strengthen or improve upon. And that's observable and measurable. We could count that this actually happened. And when you turn target behaviors into this, it's so easy then. It's simple to think about how we could accomplish the person's goals and lead them to success. All right, please continue. So a good consideration to prioritize when we're thinking about behaviors, target behaviors, are behavioral cusps. And these are important targets for acquisition, and it allows more efficiency in learning. So being able to talk or listener responding, those kind of skills will help the person access the environment, access the community at large. When we teach someone to be able to communicate, now they could go to the movies, interact with the ticket salesperson, and buy a ticket and go see their movie. They could go to the grocery store. They could ask where an item is in the store. They can access a new world of reinforcers if we help them with their communication. So an important consideration. I think about when I think about this, I think about almost like sometimes like how babies learn behaviors, right? And how a lot of behaviors that babies are learning are behavioral cusps. Think about walking, for instance. That baby is now learning how to walk. That baby is able to access a whole new world of reinforcers. No longer do they need to go through someone else to kind of get them to move around. Now they can walk around and access these reinforcers automatically or on their own. So these are important skill acquisition targets that we should prioritize and help encourage people to work on. And that's why communication is foremost in our minds as ABA practitioners, because we want to be able to give this person access to a whole world of reinforcers, be able to access, think about how important communication is for us. And allowing communication allows this person to interact with society at large. And it helps us to prioritize behaviors as well. It's systematically select target behaviors and outcomes that are important to the individual. Do you guys have any questions about behavioral cusps? Okay. So here we go, and I kind of talked about a lot of these already. Will the outcome, and these are questions that we would ask, will the outcome lead to access to new reinforcers or things that they enjoy in life? Access to new contingencies, new environments, new situations, access to new environments, like I just said. So important, especially with our work in the waiver system. The waiver is the reason why we are funded for service is to give people that normally in the past would be in institutions access to the community, right? So one of our main goals as behavioral workers is to help people access the community. How many times do we hear someone have a target or a maladaptive behavior in a store, in the community? And what is the typical response we hear? Don't take them to this place again. Well, we're closing the door on their life. We are holding them away from things that they could find enjoyable. We need to regroup and teach a skill to give them now access to this environment. And many people that aren't trained in behavioral science, that would be their response to deal with these problem behaviors, especially working with adults. And we see it all the time. So this is why we want to make sure that our work is leading to these new environments. Are socially valid, which we talked a lot about, important to the persons, the caregivers, society at large, in our goals, procedures, and outcomes. And it's going to compete with the inappropriate response. If a person engages in a maladaptive behavior to gain access or to remove something that they don't like, teaching them to be able to communicate these ideas is a great way to compete with these inappropriate maladaptive responses. So these are the reasons why we want to consider behavioral cusps in functional communication, and many others as well. We can rate, or we can other methods to assess a rating scale. We could list the goals if we have a lot of goals to work on with an individual, and we can have the team members or in the VIP rate each goal in the order they want to work upon.
Can you go back to the last slide?
We sure can.
Generativeness.
Okay, yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit more, please?
So will this skill be able to generalize to society? And that we kind of hit upon this with the seventh dimension of ABA, generality, right? That this skill that we're teaching is able to generalize to the environments that it will be used in. If we teach someone to communicate, we want them to take that skill and then take it out into the community, take it out where it would be useful. And we talked about response generalization and stimulus generalization a little bit with the credit card reader earlier, if you remember. That's what we mean here, that these skills that we're teaching are able to generalize to other people, other environments. No problem. Sorry, I missed that one. And the other thing I consider a lot is a normative comparison. And I just look at the word normal here. What is normal for this person and the environment they're in? I wouldn't want to work on something that's not typical or normal for the individual and the environment that they interact in. Bless you. What is normal for this person's age? What's normal for if we're working with children in our children's department? What's normal for a 4-year-old? What's normal if we're in our adult world? What's normal for a 30-year-old? This is something we want to consider when we're coming up with our goals. What is normal for the age? Like I said, does this impact the VIP's performance in these areas? This is just a way to rank target behaviors. We have this sheet if you guys are interested. If we had a lot of target behaviors, we can then write them down and we can ask these questions and as a way to rank what we should be working on first, what's important to the caregivers. And we have this right in this PowerPoint that you could download. Worksheet for prioritizing potential target behaviors. If we have a lot of target behaviors, we can ask them what they want to work on first using this questionnaire. That's it? Do you guys have any questions about social validity and how to come up with our goals? Does it make sense? No questions. Oh, thank you.
You're so good at this.
Thank you.